Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video and hope you guys are doing well today. Now, I wanted to talk to you about the next phase of Cataclysm and why I'm kind of worried about it. So, let's get straight into it. The next phase of Cataclysm involves the Molten Front and Firelands. Now, we already know that this is coming relatively soon. They've recently been added to the vendor servers, which is effectively like kind of their last stage before it goes to public testing. So we know that we're really in the last stages of this phase of Cataclysm. Now, my concern with the next phase is Firelands is a relatively short raid. In fact, it's only 7 bosses. When you look at any of the raids in Wrath of the Lich King, the only raid that could really compare in terms of size was Trial of the Crusader, which was a throwaway tier phase, really, and it was supplemented by the fact that you still had Alderweireld that was relevant. Well, we don't really have that. Tier 11 gear is going to be replaced really quickly. If you're doing Heroic Tier 11, then Heroic Tier 12 is going to replace it very quickly. If you were doing Normal Tier 11, then Normal Tier 12 is going to replace it very quickly. So in terms of raid content, there really isn't going to be much else extra to do once you've done that. You do then have the Molten Front. Now, one of the biggest mistakes of the original Cataclysm that I think Blizzard absolutely had the opportunity to fix this time round was releasing the Molten Front questline, and I will explain what that is in a second, at the same time as Firelands. So effectively, when Firelands comes out, the raid becomes open, Hyjal turns into a bit of a central zone of the expansion, and there's quests, dailies, and all sorts that you can do in Hyjal to progress the Molten Front. Now, there's a couple of things you need to do before that, but effectively that's the case. There's a lot of 365 gear that gets rewarded throughout this quest line that actually would be really useful for people to catch up ults or things like that going into Firelands. It also gives people something to do in the build-up. The problem is that for most people who are going to dive straight into Firelands, go into normal and clear the raid very quickly, or as I plan to do, go in on Heroic and clear it very quickly night 1, the content's done and over, and I understand that that's us as players that do that to ourselves, but the Molten Front content is completely irrelevant for someone like myself and a lot of the people that I speak to. Whereas, I guarantee if the Molten Front was released maybe 2 weeks before the raid came out, people would do it just to bring them a reason to log back into the game. We're already at a point when I log on to Cataclysm that people are raid logging. People are only showing up when they need to rather than actively wanting to play the game. And that's not talking for everyone, but I think it is talking for a large majority. And, Wrath of the Lich King had this feel, TBC had this feel. I think they both happened slightly later into the expansion, and it really does make me worry that, Firelands is not going to be the massive success. They're going to drop Dragon Soul early, and then we're going to be sat with Dragon Soul for 15 resets or something again, or even more, where it just feels long and boring and horrible again. So I'm really, really worried that they're going to make the same mistakes as they go through. So, that's all the issues. How do they fix this? I think releasing some form of, Molten Front early, get us in there, get us doing something. I guarantee I would go and do it just once, even if it's for a video, or, 365 gear, go and take an ult through it just to get some gear, things like that. It might only get me logging on for half an hour a day, but that's half an hour better than it has done for the last month. Obviously, Firelands then drops. They talked about something around, catch-up dungeons, gear, things like the Titan Rune dungeons for Cataclysm. We've heard nothing about that at the moment. Potentially that comes and gets announced when they, do some PTR testing, but we've heard nothing about that so far. PvP hasn't been touched. It's really stale. There's still a lot of macro and bot abuse in there. It's not something that people are actively wanting to do. They had a really, really cool tournament at the start of Kata where they said, look guys, Kata streamers, come and play the game. And it got people into arenas and it was actually really fun. And then there's nothing, Obviously they have the War Within at the moment, which is coming out today, actually, in a couple of hours. And their priority and their focus is obviously on that. But it does seem to me that Kata's kind of had, it's been dropped, done, and now they're not paying much attention to it. I mean, Enhancement still has like 3 bugs where, I say bugs, but things that are annoying. Searing Totem doesn't start attacking the boss unless you have threat on you. Your flame shock, you can't control like your fire rallies. If you ever pop fire rally, you can't control, where your searing totem's aiming. So yeah, there's a couple of different things. Your wolves just do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want, however they want. And that's just one spec. Ellie has issues, Resto has issues. Every class in the game has something that they wouldn't mind fixing, or they've talked in the past about potentially doing balance patches. Well, you've got some classes that are just head and shoulders above people at the moment. Yeah, and this sounds like a really ranty video, and I do apologise, but I really want Cataclysm to be good. I want to log on to it, and as of right now, I don't. And I don't see that Blizzard are doing anything to make that better. And, I'm not just seeing it from me. I'm seeing people that love Cat, have been waiting for it, playing retail, playing classic, playing SOD now that Phase 4's come out. They're looking for other things and looking for other excitement. So, really interested to hear what you guys have to think about this and have to say about this. Ultimately, I want them to be successful. I think they are currently making the same mistakes. I think what's going to end up happening is we get a short Firelands where, they drop Dragon Soul early because people are still going to be going back into Firelands to farm the Legendary, which is exactly the same reasoning that we had for Ulduar and TOGC. We're going to get a really long Dragon Soul, which is going to be horrible, and we're going to go through exactly the same thing again. And then we're inevitably going to move to MOP with little to no changes and go through the MOP process as well, where at least in MOP there is a little bit more to do out in the open world and outside of raiding. So that's kind of my thoughts on the matter. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what you've been up to in the comments. Thank you for watching. More videos coming soon, I promise. And catch you later. Bye.